So let's say you're on your journey in life and you're thinking, I want to elevate things to the next level with my career path. I want people to see me as a person with authority, credibility, respect, etc. And for example, the people who I coach, I am coaching them to become a trusted AI transformation advisor, right? So when you think of trusted AI transformation advisor, you're thinking about somebody who you'd look to and say, "Oh, I kind of respect this person for their knowledge, for their wisdom, for their insights, for their expertise. They must have done a lot of research and accomplished some major business feats, right, in order to generate revenue, to save costs, to increase the amount of time that people have in the day to think and do strategy." So you think about this person as, oh, they know how to do it, right? And they have a certain kind of image. And so we're going to look at the things that contribute to that image today. Get started. Look at this wonderful picture. This person works for me and she's got great posture, she's got great lighting, she's dressed up, right? She looks very professional. She's got a slight smile, her eyes are looking right into the camera, and you couldn't find a better picture of a human. Now look at this guy, and we'll call him Bob. We're blurring out his name and location. Here we go. That's a little bigger. But do you see how it's dark? The guy, it almost doesn't look like he's looking into the camera. Maybe he is, but there's something about it. Maybe it's just this picture's too small and dark, but he kind of has his head sticking out here instead of good posture, right? And sometimes I do this when I'm reading a screener, but when I'm getting my picture taken, I'm gonna try and use great posture, right? So, uh, here's what not to do when you're doing your picture. I will say great proportions here. You want the top of your head just along the top, and you want your chin to be there with a tiny bit of your chest there, and you want to be the main thing in that picture. I see people who are, you can see their partner, their buddy or whatever, their cat next to them, and it's very distracting. You're like, well, which person is it? Is it the cat or no? But if it's another person, you're like, oh, is who am I looking at here? Whose picture am I supposed to, which picture am I supposed to focus on? It's distracting. It's confusing. Don't do that. So now to go further here, I'm gonna go to a tool in that I created in ChatGPT. So you can see I've got all of my custom GPTs here, and I've built maybe 50 of these, and I just have the ones that I've used most recently here. So I'm gonna ask, give me 10 tips for, because I have a whole chapter. I've written this book, Highly Promotable, and you can find it on Amazon. Um, you can and I wrote a whole chapter on how to optimize your LinkedIn profile. Also, we'll be finishing up the audio book pretty soon here, so that'll be released. So watch for that. And but until then, I'll put the link for this. I'll put the link for this particular uh, agent in my description below. So if you want, you can go click that there. And so you can just talk to the book. You can talk to me essentially with all the tips that I put in there. Give me 10 tips for optimizing my LinkedIn profile. And again, AI doesn't care if you have terrible spelling. All custom GPTs now are, you can change the model. You can use it 4.0, oh 03, oh 04, right? Now, I did not need it to uh, give me all this, but you can see that it's making your LinkedIn profile feel right. That is the name of the chapter in my book. So I've uploaded my whole book again, and it's going and looking through this. I can see what it's thinking about. So that is the benefit to using O3. Probably could have used 4.0 for this query. It's not that complex. I'm going to go to my own LinkedIn profile, and you can see mine. So it's well lit. I have a bright color behind it that I've also matched with this. So it's very unique looking as far as being the same color across those. And I just used Canva. You can also do this in Google Slides. There's a one-click background replacement feature. It's super easy to use. So once I've gotten to my profile, I'm just going to take a quick screenshot here, and then I'm going to go, and it looks like it finished thinking here, but we'll go back to that in a second. I'm going to have it look at my profile in just that screenshot there and say, give me some advice to improve my LinkedIn profile. So it's going to think and give me some advice. Okay. But let's look at the general tips that it came up with. 10 quick hit ways to make your LinkedIn profile work for you. The tip is number 1, invest in a high quality headshot. Did our friend Bob here do that? Bob did not. Let's take a look at myself. I did. I got a professional photographer, and the other example here that I used was Lice, and she has a kind of a blah background there. Sorry, Lice, but wow, what a nice picture, right? So she invested in a high quality photograph. Okay, first impressions form in 1/10 of a second. And there's research behind this. This is incredibly important. Some people are like, oh, they'll read my profile. It'll be okay. I'll have time to course correct and change like it's the overall. No, the people make up their mind in 1/10 of a second, sometimes much less. Spring for a pro photographer, use soft lighting, no sunglasses, and crop so your face fills 2/3 of the frame. Well done, Lice. Number 2, write a headline that broadcasts the value you deliver. These are tips from my book, so you can read these in more detail in my book if you want. Write a headline that broadcasts the value you deliver. Move beyond job titles. State the problem you solve or the outcome you create. Okay. Leverage the banner image. Use the wallpaper area to reinforce your brand. Industry gear, an inspiring quote or a location that signals where you work or aspire to be. So I'm just going to look at mine here as an example. And if you look at mine, and I actually got mine from a guy who I really love. He's a super fun guy. His name is Sam Swirsky. Okay. And he has this really fun, like, this is who he is. Gain clarity, visibility, authority, wreck that bell. It's like very attention grabbing. He's like, I didn't even know there was a bell here until I saw his thing. One thing that I think I prefer to do differently is this is talking about him, and I prefer to talk about my client, my audience, right? And so instead of talking about myself, so the one thing that I've changed here, as you go back to mine, is that mine is talking about the person. It's basically giving my offer and says, hey, become a Gen AI black belt. That's the certification that we help people to get. Go from knows about AI to trusted AI transformation advisor in 3 to 6 months. So you already heard me say that in this video, that this is what I help people do. It's an identity shift. It's very powerful. It's more than just like, oh, you're going to watch these videos. It's like walking through valuable projects, um, advising. It's premium, high touch coaching. It's very special. It's much more than anything you could get in a master's degree or a certification through a university, which I do advise universities on designing, creating those programs, but they can't require their students to have meaningful value creation immediately in the program, because it's not accessible to all students. They have to have requirements that are accessible to all students. So they cannot do what we do in our program, right? They cannot turn people into trusted AI transformation advisors because they can't require those types of experiences that we require in the program. You see the difference there? And that's what I'm advertising right here in my banner. So you can advertise the same thing in yours. You can say, hey, audience, is this what you want to do? Work with me and we'll help you do this, right? It's the hero's journey. I use the StoryBrand framework, and so this is, trusted by these types of companies, private, public, academic. And I use the 5-star approach in my work, and that's the name of my company. And so I've got these little ninjas here to complement the Gen AI black belt. It's very fun, right? And all this is about the individual, like the person that I'm trying to connect with. And so I highly encourage you to connect with your individual that you're trying to reach with your profile banner, right? So let's go back. Leverage the banner image. Did it. Show your real full name plus credentials. Why would you not show your real full name? If you think you're going to hide from people on the internet, you are wrong. People can look up your public information, where you've lived, your mother's maiden name. Like, I mean, I wouldn't broadcast your mother's maiden name essentially, but it's out there. If somebody wants to find it, they can find it. It costs about $1. So adding MBA, MPA next to your name helps decision makers grasp your qualifications. So if you've got those credentials, put them there. I know people who are like, "Oh, I don't want to have my credentials there because it makes me seem bloated, or I don't need credentials because I'm past that point in my career." And it's like, "No, like you want people to know what your credentials are so that they can associate those with you." And maybe the people who know you, maybe the people you work with already know what your credentials are, but some of them don't. Guaranteed, some of the people who work with you don't know that you have those credentials, and it helps you identify with them, right? So let's say that you have an MBA and I work for you and I have an MBA too. I can say, "Oh, you know what? We've both got MBAs. That is so cool." Or, "Oh, I forgot that when we first met, that you mentioned you had an MBA, but I looked you up on LinkedIn just to check something, or I saw you, and there it was. And now I remember that we're connected in that way." Or, "Oh, that's something I don't have that's complementary," right? So, however they relate to that, it's important to add those. The number of people who say, well, gee, this person's just bloating themselves up and inflating their image with all their credit. Like, there's not that many people out there, and those are not the people that you want to impress anyway. Number 5, make the about section a mini value proposition. So this is great. Mostly you want to talk about the hero's journey and how they are in need of your solution, and then that you're the guide, and then you talk about what the solution is, right? How you're going to help them overcome the problem. Number 6, bulletproof your experience section. So use strong verbs, include metrics. I see a lot of people not using metrics. I try and use metrics as often as possible. Sometimes it's like, wow, I'm doing this huge project and I'm right in the middle of it, but you can also say what you're targeting. So I think that most people have opportunities here to improve this area. Number 7, list all education, license, and certification. So you don't have to put all of, every single little certification you get from LinkedIn Learning in your, tagline, but you want to put all those on there unless they're like completely not related to where you're going in your career. Um, but sometimes it's like, hey, this is my hobby and I did this thing, and it's like a complimentary or a very interesting thing about you. Some people might be, not interested in what your hobby is, but if it's related to your career, I would put it in there. Cross the 500 connection threshold and engage. So if you see someone on LinkedIn and they have 239 connections, they're either someone who is not interested or involved in digital technology. That's a big possibility. And in my world, in the AI world, like, we're technology people. So if I saw someone who had less than 500 connections and in their LinkedIn profile, and I was thinking about hiring them to be a part of my company, I'd be like, ooh, either they're very young in their career and this would be a big upgrade developmental opportunity for them, or they're not a digital person. So that would be my assumption, which would be wrong sometimes, but that's the common assumption that people make. And you need to know about it, right? So if you want to overcome that bias, then you need to get the connections. And when you reach for those connections, connect with people who are a tier or two over where you are at, so that you can go to them for advice. You can potentially contribute to their teams. You can, those are the people you want to be connected to. They can hire you. You can deliver value to them. It's great. Number 9, think twice before flashing the open to work ring. And I go into this in depth in my book, but basically, sometimes people think, oh, this person's desperate. So make sure that you really need this before you use it. Number 10, keep everything current and error free. So I've seen so many resumes that are like riddled with errors, grammar errors, spelling errors, doesn't make sense errors. And when I read those, I'm like, oh, I would not trust this person to write a single email on my behalf. Okay. And that's a tough judgment call to have someone make against you. Right. And so if you have to have any level of detail orientedness in your work, then you may want to have someone else spell check it. Does that sound dishonest? Well, I mean, you want to put your best foot forward. And if you have people spell check your important work before delivering something to a client or your boss or your boss's boss, then you may want to have that done for your profile. So this just says ready for the next level. These tips draw from chapter 19, making your LinkedIn profile feel right. And it's that emotional feel right that's really the goal. In highly promotable, transforming your visibility approach. That's interesting because that's not the tagline, but we find little errors in AI, which is a good reason, again, to proofread your stuff. Grab your copy on Amazon to get the full checklist, etc. So then I put in my actual profile. Okay, what advice did I get? So highly recommend you use this highly promotable agent and see what you get for yourself. You can comb through some of the things I got. You can see there are plenty of recommendations. Okay, and two strategic tips: refresh your first 300 characters. That snippet shows up in Google. Add a Gen AI wins hashtag. It's fun. Okay, so good luck with your highly promotability. Good luck with your optimizing your LinkedIn profile and any other place where you show up. So I know sometimes that we say, oh, LinkedIn's the place to be. And I know there are a lot of industries where there's other places where you need to show up. Every single place I would use the same profile picture so that if someone looks you up in one place and they've seen you in another place, they can easily tell, oh, this is the same person. This is the person I'm looking for. Yes, instead of having to squint and kind of look and tell, I wonder if this is the same guy or not. Oh, I think it is. You don't want people going through that quandary in their mind. You want it to be instantaneous, just so that it builds the confidence in hiring you, promoting you, utilizing your services, referring you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helps you to optimize your LinkedIn profile, and I'll see you in the next one.